Hey everyone, Joanne here, aka Joe, aka Fee, resident of John Land at nkotbfans.com, and I'm coming at you from Brisbane, Australia, aka the land down under, aka the land the new kids forgot, but hopefully not for too much longer, please God. And this is my contribution to the new social phenomenon sweeping the globe, known as the John Girl Vlog, which of course began at the John Benson in Chicago. And since then, one girl in particular, our sweet gangster T-Dub, has become a bit of a vlogging maniac, and in doing so she's inspired some of us to follow in her footsteps, which is why I am now recording myself despite the fact I really hate video of myself. So, seeing as how this is a T-Dub inspired vlog, it's also going to be a T-Dub themed vlog. She recently requested that I Photoshop her a new image to use in her signature on the forums, because whereas T-Dub is a vlogging maniac, I'm a photoshopping maniac, and so I've done signatures for people over the forums. And so T-Dub's was one of the very first ones that I did, and I thought I'd send it out in style, seeing as how she's going to be having a new one. And it's an image with a story behind it, and it's a story of passion and of love and of heartbreak and loss, and it's a story that I feel really needs to be told. And T-Dub is partial to fairy tales, so I thought it only fitting that the story of her Siggy be told in fairy tale form. So this, of course, is the image we're talking about, where we got T-Dub in her beautiful plaid wedding dress, and John and Donnie fighting over her, and the castle and the fireworks. So sit back and I'll read you a story called Bedazzling Beauty. Once upon a time, in a magical faraway land called Donnyland, there lived a fair princess named T-Dub. She was in love with Sir Donald, who ruled all of Donnyland. One day, Princess T-Dub ventured into one of the neighbouring kingdoms. It was a place called John Land, and it was ruled by a stunningly handsome and ageless man named Master Jonathan. In John Land, Princess T-Dub met many premium ladies and had such an epic time with them that she kept coming back time and again, until eventually she had taken up permanent residence there. She was welcomed with open arms by the John girls, and there was much joy and celebration when Princess T-Dub was officially declared a Johnvert. But though she was happy in John Land, and though Master Jonathan was the fairest in all the lands, there was still a yearning in Princess T-Dub's heart for her former love, Sir Donald. She would often steal back to Donnyland to visit him, and one day he proposed marriage to her. Of course she said yes. She'd be insane not to. People came from all around to attend the wedding. The princes from the nearby provinces of Jordanland, Joeland, and Dannyland were all in the wedding party, but Sir Donald was especially fond of Master Jonathan, so he was the best man. Princess T-Dub's wedding dress was made of plaid, as an homage to her second home and the girls there who she considered her family, for plaid was the national dress of John Land. The gown was bedazzled with thousands of gems, which, along with her dazzling tiara, caught the light and sparkled as she moved. She had included this element in the dress design, because bedazzlement of any kind never ceased to make Sir Donald's heart overflow with joy. The ceremony was to be held in a chapel in the grounds of the castle belonging to Princess T-Dub's second cousin once removed, a beautiful maiden named Cinderella. As the ceremony began, Sir Donald stood at the end of the aisle with his best man, Master Jonathan, at his side. They turned to face the doors of the chapel as Princess T-Dub entered and made her way down the aisle. Seeing her clad in the traditional attire of his people, Master Jonathan was overcome by her beauty and by his own ensuing passion. He could not lose her. He could not let her marry Sir Donald. He took off down the aisle, and when he came to Princess T-Dub, he threw her over his shoulder and swiftly swaggered outside. Sir Jordan uttered under his breath, "Oh, snap." Sir Joseph said, "I warned him that this would happen. That one always steals all the women's." Sir Daniel began laughing uncontrollably until he was practically shrieking and gasping for air. Sir Donald hastily ran down the aisle, hollering for someone to bring him his bedazzled Vaseline, because he was going to throw down. A terrible fight followed, which was so bitter and nasty that I shall not recount the details here. Suffice to say, though, that Princess T-Dub actually thought it was quite premium to have the two men engaged in an epic battle for her heart and hand. She wanted to remember this moment forever, so she grabbed the photographer and told them to take her photo with the men fighting in the background. As luck would have it, the fireworks, which were scheduled to be set off at the conclusion of the ceremony, were on an automatic timer, which no one had thought to turn off in the midst of the commotion, so the resulting photos were seriously made of win. No one ended up getting married on that fateful day after all. The weeks became months as each man tried to win the heart of the fair maiden. Master Jonathan even went so far as to drop his pants and show off his finely toned thighs and his black boxer briefs. But then Sir Donald soon copied this tactic, only his boxers were adorned with the German flag, for he knew that that distant land held a special place in Princess T-Dub's heart. Eventually, though, Princess T-Dub did make up her mind. Her heart had finally chosen its one true love, and his name was Sir Donald. She vowed to still dwell mostly in Johnland, though, for she loved her sisters there, and she also still wanted to be around just in case Master Jonathan did anything especially hot in another attempt to win her back. Not that he'd succeed, of course, but she wasn't about to discourage him from trying. And the moral of this story is, T-Dub needs a new Siggy, so how about we make her one?